Welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Sean Gardner, and I'm a former athlete turned salesman. Um, Basically, today I want to talk about like the importance of having a hobby outside of your job, because you all know work can get pretty hectic. Sometimes can get pretty crazy, and you definitely need some type of outlet to release that tension, that energy. So I have a post here from Psychology Today that I'd like to go over. It's very simple, but it's pretty straightforward. There's a lot of insight, just the little simple points that they have here. I definitely just want to take a look at it and check it out. All right, so we got the post here. It's from Psychology Today, written by a Jamie Kurtz. Um, Basically, she starts off by saying how nowadays, people are always busy because they're running around between this, between that. She gives a couple of examples saying here, running the kids from piano to soccer practice to keeping the house tidy, to staying on top of the influx of emails, right? Um, how can you have any time for hobbies and for fun, basically, right? To decompress. Um, she also goes on to say that this kind of is an illusion. We kind of tell ourselves that, we kind of lie to ourselves because we kind of distract ourselves rather than feed ourselves with opportunities to grow, right? So she goes on to say that like we always are creating this illusion of busyness, right? With the constant social media checkups or the Netflix binging, right? Um, Anything that's kind of like very surface level activity isn't really going to facilitate growth in the long term, right? Um, so she goes on to kind of list a couple benefits of having a hobby outside of work. And the first one here is hobbies help you structure your time. She says, according to the Parkinson's law, work expands so as to fill the time available for its completion. More simply, the things take as much time as you have. So when the evening stretches out before you, unscheduled, you might find yourself laboring over that work project or answering emails into the wee hours. Chances are, if you had a choir practice or a book club meeting that night, you'd get those tasks done much more quickly. So hobbies can seem to create more time by encouraging efficiency. And I kind of agree, even through my own experiences. Like I said, I've been a soccer player all my life. So even when I stopped playing seriously and I like joined a little league or I had like a pickup game I knew that I can go attend, yeah, I was definitely making sure that I had all my work done, some errands taken care of. My dog was good. Like I definitely pushed aside everything away and made sure it was checked off my list so that I had time to just focus on the hobby that I wanted to attend. And yeah, I definitely can agree. It creates basically efficiency in your life. You know what I'm saying? So by not having something like that, you're always on the cusp of being late for something, or you're always being disorganized, right? So you're never really focused on anything in particular to accomplish anything, which is the opposite of what you want. You're really just being stagnant. You're not growing. So the next one that she has here is hobbies promote flow. You know, Left to our own devices, we often opt for passive leisure. TV and web surfing are the top for most people's lists. And for sure, we all need to veg out from time to time, but we are so much more invigorated by active leisure. The sort of thing this psychologist, I can't pronounce her name, calls flows activity. If you've ever lost yourself in a sport or an art project or other challenging, absorbing activity, you've experienced flow. Time flies, self consciousness disappears, and you're fully immersed in the activity at hand. Hobbies, especially those that stretch our skills, foster this desirable and increasingly elusive state. So I agree with that too. Yeah, just playing a sport, especially anyone who's played a sport, can really relate to just finding your groove, right? When you find that groove, it's just like you're just on fire. You're like nothing you can do is a mistake. Nothing you can do can go wrong, right? So having that flow state of mind, just being kind of on point and just going with the flow of the activity, even if it's challenging, even if you're not getting it right away, the fact that you don't even notice time passing so seemingly because you're so immersed in trying to learn and understand and figure it out. And it's basically like just chopping down a huge oak tree just over and over and over until you finally get it right. So yeah, I definitely can agree. Time pretty much just passes by when you're really passionate about what you love doing. So the next one she has here is that hobbies can foster new social connections. While some hobbies are solitary endeavors, many get us out in our communities, meeting people we otherwise wouldn't, sharing our passions, and forming new bonds. Countless studies have found that social connection is a key component of happiness in a meaningful life, and hobbies have the potential to create precious new ties. So yeah, obviously, when you go to new places, you see new faces, right? And going to those new places and seeing new people in a common area with a common interest has some type of foundation for you guys to kind of build off of. Yeah, you might be strangers at first, but you continue to go to that same venue, you continue to go to that same space. You're inevitably just bound to start having conversations about similar topics, similar interests, because you've already shown up at a place where you both are interested in to begin with, so it's inevitable. The next one she has here is that hobbies can make you interesting. Hobbies give you something to talk about at parties and around the water cooler. They add layers to your identity, richness to your self concept. People want to be around those with passions, with a sense of curiosity, with stories to tell. You not only feel more inspired when you have a rich and active life, but you will inspire others as well. And yeah, me, I'm kind of introverted, so I definitely keep to myself. But in these particular times, when you are around a group of people and it's like a social gathering, it definitely helps to have like a couple of great stories due to your hobby or due to your interests that you can share with other people that might not share that same interest, but they can appreciate that you are dedicated to that set interest, right? And that's a pretty interesting thing because everyone is different. Not everyone's going to enjoy the same things, but the fact that you can go to a venue, kind of shoot the shit, so to speak, and other people can be like, "Hey, man, that's actually pretty cool. Respect." You know what I mean? Yeah, you kind of foster some new bonds that way as well. You know. So the next one she has here is hobbies can help you cope with stress. And like this is probably the biggest one of all. I definitely stress this the most, right? No pun intended, but yeah, this stress is a big one for a hobby, and we'll get into it right here. Hobbies can help you cope with stress. Imagine a rough day at the office where you were harshly criticized by your boss. Coming home and turning on the TV may provide a brief distraction, but it doesn't address your damaged ego head on. Now imagine that after work you head out to your soccer league or pottery class. These activities are more than merely distracting. They remind you that there are many facets to your self concept. Employee, yes, but also athlete or artist. As such, a blow to one's aspect of identity is less damaging. Simply put, all your eggs aren't in one basket. And yeah, I can agree with this too. Stress is like the main component to work, right? You're always focused, got to be detail oriented, you got to produce, you got to get results. And that can definitely pile up if it's not addressed correctly, like if it's not um, transmuted correctly, right? The last thing you want is accumulate stress in your body, in your mind, right? That's the last thing you need. But having something like, of course, athletic activities, sports activities, but even something like art, painting, music, right? It's all about where you focus your energy. So if you put your energy towards something that you are passionate about, how even have an interest. It doesn't have to be full blown passion, but you could develop a passion for it because you start to put energy towards it, right? Rather than that Netflix show that you probably have seen 20 times at this point because it's just so great, right? But focusing on something new and really trying to dedicate time to it relieves stress in other areas of your life because you're just not focused on the stresses. You're just not focused on it. Truly not focused on it because you're so dedicated to some other aspect of life, some other craft, right? Even for me, example would be that guitar over there. I don't know much about guitar, but I picked it up because I want to dedicate my focus and my energy to something new. And I'm not going to say I'm going to be some Jimi Hendrix anytime soon, but I definitely would like to start, being more adept at it. So that's one of my goals. You know. So continuing, just to finish up, she basically says here, and the benefits can spill over into other aspects of your life. If you can designate an hour a day or even a few hours a week for something you feel truly inspired and enlivened by, don't be surprised if some of that newfound zest carries over into your work and family life. Hey, so I appreciate you checking out this post with me. It was pretty simple, but pretty informative as well, I think. It's just different perspectives on just work life balance, basically. So if you're anything like me, former athlete, just trying to find new passions in life, just keep on going, keep on um, testing the water, so to speak. You try a little bit of this, try a little bit of that, and yeah, you'll find something soon. To keep that fire alive, right? So thanks for checking this out. See you next time. All right.